watching Let's Chat.
Good morning and welcome back as we get ready to kickstart a new year. A lot of us have travel plans. How do you do that safely, protecting you and your family? Here to answer a few of those questions is Randall Van Dolson. Randall is with Chattanooga Family Practice. Good to see you, Randall. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of people, as I mentioned a moment ago, getting ready for big travel plans this year. But not just the beginning of a new year. Anytime throughout the year, there are ways to travel safely to where you don't spend a day or two of your well-earned vacation in the bathroom or worse. So I want you to tell us, I guess one of the biggest fears people have when traveling, especially overseas, the dreaded Montezuma's revenge. How do we avoid getting something like that, which can really ruin a vacation?
Absolutely. So traveler's diarrhea is a big concern for travelers. Up to about 70% of travelers to developing countries are at risk for traveler's diarrhea. So it's a huge concern for many international travelers. It's typically transmitted through bacteria, it's a little gross, but through feces. Sure. So someone has to ingest fecal material from sources like food or water, have to ingest that in order to get sick.
How do you avoid getting sick in the first place? And this is going to lead into the follow-up question, which I'll tell you here in a minute. What's the best way to nip that in the bud?
Yeah, well, knowing how it's transmitted through feces with these bacteria, you really want to be careful with the food and water that you consume. Of course, washing hands is always going to be important, using soap and water or alcohol rubs, but really safe water and safe food. And these are things like in certain countries, you may want to avoid using tap water for drinking or brushing your teeth. Stick to bottled water and sealed drinks. Food's a little trickier. You want to stay away from things like raw or undercooked meat, certain produce, fruits and vegetables. There is a saying, I'm going to paraphrase it, if you can't cook it, can't boil it, can't clean it, then forget it. So you want to stay away from these kind of things.
A number of years ago, my wife and I were in the Dominican Republic and felt great. Everything was just a super, super vacation. Then we both went to the same buffet at the same area we were staying in, and we were both wishing we had never laid eyes on that buffet just a few hours later. If you do get something like this, what's the best way to treat it?
Yeah, well, there are many ways to kind of manage and treat symptoms of traveler's diarrhea. There's not a one-size-fits-all. It's really going to come down to specific factors based on the individual traveler, their medical conditions and medication they may be on, where they're traveling in the world, the severity of symptoms. You will manage mild symptoms differently than you'll manage severe symptoms. For mild, you can maybe self-treat with some over-the-counter medications and things like that. For more severe symptoms, you may want to use an antibiotic, but there are very specific antibiotics that work against these specific bacteria.
All right, if you do find yourself in this situation, actually, let me back up a minute. Depending upon where you're going, I would guess a little research on the internet would certainly be in order to hopefully give you a little bit of extra knowledge to avoid that altogether.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then if you do get it, one of the big risks is becoming further dehydrated, which can create a whole other subset of problems.
Yeah.
How do you avoid that?
Well, if it gets to more severe symptoms, an antibiotic may be helpful to eliminate the bacteria. You may want to get rehydrated with their oral rehydration solutions you can take with that. And that kind of underscores the importance of meeting with a travel medicine provider before your trip. So you kind of formulate a game plan, kind of the worst case scenarios and how to prepare for those.
What has been one of the biggest, or maybe the biggest success story that you've heard from the advice you have given as it pertains to travel medicine? Once people get back on their follow-up visit to you, they go, wow, I didn't have any problems at all. Is there a particular story that stands out?
No particular stories. Our main push is really seeing them before they leave and just giving them loads of information, things they may not know, they don't know. So we try to fill in that knowledge gap.
Sure.
We haven't heard any negative things when people come back, so we hope that our travelers are traveling safely and healthy with our advice.
And no matter how much of a world traveler you are, with the way things have been changing over the past couple of years, it certainly pays to get that visit done before you head off to the airport. Give us a website so folks can find out more information.
Yeah, you can find us at www.besafethere.com.
Good.
And we're also on Facebook as well.
BeSafeThere.com.
Yes, sir.
And we are on Facebook. Again, Randall Van Dolson, thank you so much for joining us. And again, the website, BeSafeThere.com. Again, BeSafeThere.com.